Welcome to another episode of the SCP podcast. My name is Patti Weiter, and I am the marketing chair for SCP. And today I'm joined by Dr. Tommy Thomas. Thank you for being here with me.
Oh, thank you, Patty, for having me. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better. On our podcast, we try to create community by learning about our members and the expertise that they have that we can share. So, first, I just want to know a little bit about your career, kind of what brought you into consulting psychology. What was your journey to get here?
Well, I eventually came into consulting psychology because of my dad. Uh, my dad got his degree in psychology and his doctorate in psychology in 1955, and he joined Rohr, Hibbler, and Replogle, which today is known as RHR.
Yeah.
And he was one of the very first psychologists in that group, and they were trying to figure out what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
In 1955, uh, they weren't quite sure as psychologists exactly how they were working with organizations and business people,
Mm-hmm.
and and the business people also weren't quite sure why they were hiring them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's probably both sides are trying to explain what are we doing and
Yeah,
what are we trying and how are we learning about what to do?
So he was really, but he turns out he was really one of the first executive coaches in the country, although they called themselves psychological consultants to management.
Mm.
Spent 6 years, 8 hours a day with 1 hour coaching, advising sessions with top
Mhm.
executives. And it was a result of that he took off 2 years to start his own firm
Mhm.
and work half time with clients and half time to figure out what it was that he had learned in those 6 years. And
Mhm.
particularly, the main question or the main issue for those business clients was the growth of their company. And
Mhm.
for a subset of those executives, it was also the growth of the people. Although
Mhm.
although some did not have that sort of empathetic and magnanimous viewpoint, it was more about growing the company, making
Yeah.
more. So my dad was really interested in growth as a concept and particularly how people grew. And so
Mhm.
that he developed the concept that we now call opposite strengths, and
Mhm.
you can learn about it at oppositestrengths.com. And he began applying that in his consulting work. And then one of his clients said, Jay, you ought to get a group of people together and teach this to them. So
Mhm.
he started doing seminars, and then he had people, trainers that attended those, and they said, well, we'd like to do this too. And at first he was, no, 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 I'm the only one that can do this. But he started allowing other people to do it. And he said, wow, they do it their own way, and this is good.
Mhm.
So he began training and certifying facilitators, and uh, and that's when I came in 1982 when I got my PhD. I
Mhm.
joined and I started learning how to facilitate the seminar. I was writing, expanding the theory and the written materials. I was consulting with clients. I was training trainers. I was designing training, our certification schools. I
Mhm.
started putting on user conferences where we'd invite in clients and other people to present things about opposite strengths and to learn more. And so that's how I got into. I think that was your initial
Yeah.
question.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because so many people in SCP that I'll talk to got their degree in psychology and maybe weren't as aware of the field of consulting or applying psychology, and they maybe stumbled across that through different avenues in their career. But it sounds like you were born into it. You've got, from the outset of knowing what a psychologist does, you've got someone who's been in the field, longer than most of the psychologists in SCP have been alive. So.
Yeah, I literally was born into it, and I spent a lot of
Mhm.
my teenage years with my dad in his study, talking about what he was doing and talking about more conceptual. Then when I went to school, when I went to get my PhD, because I got my undergraduate degree in Plan 2 at the University of Texas, which is a liberal arts degree. But when
Mhm.
to get my PhD, I went into the educational psychology department into what was called Area 3, there are like 8 different areas that you could study.
Mhm.
And area 3 was psychometrics, research design, statistics, and that's what I majored in. But I also uh, concentrated in personality because that's basically what opposite strengths is about
Yeah.
people and similarities and differences. And so I got my degree in, because I was also a mathematician, had an undergraduate degree in math. That I liked math, and that was a kind of an odd combination. Somebody that,
Yeah. So you're interested in personality, but also that psychometric portion of measurement and being able to integrate in, it sounds like the the mathematical ways that we can get data to provide insight. So tell me a little bit more about opposite strengths. And it sounds like your dad kind of started that model, and then that's something that you've continued.
yeah, the basic concept behind opposite strengths is that growth is a process in which two opposite strengths interact and feed one another. So, for example, there are 3 basic pairs of strengths that we talk about, but I'll just talk about the basic pair. Called the basic pair, and that's thinking and risking. So you can think about thinking as being the rational, analytical side of who you are, and risking is not danger, it's not gambling, it's
Mhm.
activity, movement. It took a long time to get a word that was kind of caught the essence of it. And so you can think about the basic pair of strengths. People think about things and plan, and they also implement and experience. And
Mhm.
one of the basic differences among people is which one of those that you lead with. You
Mhm.
either lead with analytical or you lead with experience. And but the key to it is that everybody has both. And
Mhm.
if you concentrate only on the one that you naturally lead with, like I lead with thinking, so my first reaction to problems is to get a piece of paper and write down what I know
Analyze it. Yeah.
rather than do something. And so, but if I only do the analyzing part and I don't get into the doing part, I'm not going to be successful and I won't grow. So the more I plan and analyze and the more I put those plans into action and gain experiences, I get more information to put in back into the planning and action. So both of those strengths grow. And
Mhm.
picture of a successful person. And that was what my dad found because he asked the question in the beginning. Well, there must be certain personality characteristics that create successful executives.
Mhm.
Started analyzing all these clients he knew, and they were kind of across the board as far as characteristics. But the one thing they had in common was that they all followed this growth principle. That even if they led with thinking, they developed their risking skills, their doing skills, and
Mhm.
they often did that by working with and choosing people that were different from them, which
Yeah.
is many people in business don't do. They
Mhm.
people just like them, and then they
Yeah.
polarize on a particular strength and creating problems, and they don't know where are these problems coming from. We're all doing the right thing.
Mhm. Yeah. So they might even feel frustrated by those people that are, you know, having the opposite strength to them. They might not see that they need that.
They often don't, but sometimes it's kind of like a trial by fire. They
Mhm.
learn that okay, people different from me, that's what I need. And
Mhm.
so to me, I think opposite strengths is sort of like the perfect diversity program as far as personality goes. It's
Yeah.
showing people you got to have all different kinds of people working together if you're going to have a
Mhm.
successful organization.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me what has been something that you've been excited about that you're doing lately? Like, what's the new thing in your work that's invigorating to you?
Well, I have been over my career. I've worked a lot with healthcare systems. That's probably been the major industry that I've worked with. And in 2008, like 1999 to 2008, I had this experience of taking opposite strengths throughout a healthcare system in Fort Collins, Colorado. It was
Mhm.
Poudre Valley health system. Poudre, in case anybody wonders what that word was I said. They are now part of University of Colorado Health, so you will not find them anymore as a
Yeah.
separate entity. But we trained everybody in the organization opposite strengths, and this basically teaches people growth, communication, collaboration. And the CEO, Ruland Stacy, wanted to do this because he really believed in people, and he would attend the seminars that we did, and he'd say, the reason we're investing our money in this is because we're investing in the people to
Mhm.
grow, and you're going to grow our organization. And it was just it's very enlightening and satisfying to have a CEO come into your work and say that to 50 people
Mhm.
in training. So, but the kind of the ulterior motive was that he saw when he came in that they had a very high voluntary turnover rate. And
Mhm.
23%, and the industry average was 19%. And
Mhm.
19% is for healthcare is way above the average of the average industry. So
Yeah.
healthcare experiences a lot of turnover, and a lot of that is due to the culture in the organization. It's very competitive. Uh, there are just a lot of conflicted interests of
Mhm.
people. They don't collaborate. They don't communicate with each other. So he brought in opposite strengths as a way to change the culture, to
Mhm.
transform the culture from being competitive to collaborative. And
Mhm.
to make a long story short, over 8 years, the turnover rate dropped from 23% to 4%.
Wow.
It was
That's
amazing.
amazing.
And they won the Malcolm Baldrige Award that year.
Mhm.
They're the healthcare system to win the Malcolm Baldrige
Yeah.
Award. And I was sort of naive about the financial consequences of this. But so I went in and speak with him one of the times I was visiting up there. And he said, I want to show you something. And that's when he showed me that turnover chart and showed that drastic, decrease.
Mhm.
I went, wow, that's really great, Rulin. He said, do you know what that means to us financially? And I said, no, what does that mean? And he said, well, it turnover is a very costly thing for organizations, and by
Mhm.
reducing our turnover rate, we save $32 million a year. And
Mhm.
this was a system with about 5,000 employees.
Yeah.
And so that's when it sort of dawned on me that not only was this really great for people and to make a more productive organization, but
Mhm.
it was also and that savings went right to the bottom line of the organization.
Mhm.
But it's a great financial decision for organizations to transform their cultures to be collaborative and have people share and get along.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So it sounds like you've been continually applying this throughout your career and just growing on that. So, you've had a long career of applying opposite strengths. What is it, outside of your work that brings you joy or that is exciting in your life right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think one of the best things I have is my dog Stella. She
Oh.
keeps me company a lot of the time. Another thing that I really enjoy is golf, and I play the municipal courses here in Austin with a group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Have another colleague and friend. Actually, I helped him with his dissertation. His name is David Cook. He is a sports psychologist, and he produced a film called 7 Days in Utopia um, several years ago with Robert Duvall was the star in it.
Wow.
All about the principles of what makes a great golfer. And
Mhm.
one of those principles is visioning. And so, one of the things I really enjoy about golf, uh, and I know some people don't like golf, and it can be expensive, but I just really enjoy when I hit a good shot and I can see the trajectory of the ball. In fact, if I see it before it goes, it's kind of like a work of art to me, and I
Yeah, yeah. You can see where you want it to go, and then you watch that happen. And yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of it's beautiful, and
Mhm.
so I enjoy that.
Well, now that you say that about Austin, maybe our folks that are coming in for the conference in February, I don't know if they'll want to golf in February, but any other things in Austin that you think are like the place to go to eat or to go visit? Any great spots?
Well, I've lived in Austin for 54 years, and I used to tell people early on, boy, you really ought to come to Austin. Now too many people have
Yeah.
come. But I want you, if you come, I want you to visit and then leave.
Yeah.
But the music scene, I don't know how many viewers or listeners remember Stevie Ray Vaughan, but Stevie
Mhm.
Vaughan grew up in Dallas and lived in Austin.
I didn't realize that.
And I would go see Stevie Ray Vaughan play on the shores, on the auditorium shores downtown Austin, uh,
Mhm.
for $13 a ticket.
Yeah.
And we really didn't know what we had when we had.
Yeah.
But the music scene here is just very vibrant. And
Mhm.
in fact, one of my college roommates was Willis Allen Ramsey, who Captain and Tennille made his song "Muskrat Love." He's coming into Austin on January 5th, and I'm going to go see him.
That's awesome. So we'll have to tell folks if they're coming in for the conference to see what shows are going to be happening in February. And yeah, we'll probably have some good times there. I know we have music lovers in SCP, and I've caught them last year when we had the band at the party for SCP. There were people who got up there and played and sang. So yeah, so speaking of SCP, just if you can think about, why you are a member of SCP or what you value about the Society of Consulting Psychology, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I think for me, it's having people who understand what consulting psychology is. And to a certain extent, there's a subset of people. I mean, most people don't know what psychometrics is. So I always kind of a quizzical look is what you're a psychometrician? What's that? And so, just to me, being in SCP and being around people that are in the consulting psychology business and have had similar experiences, it's just that collaboration and companionship and shared
Mhm.
experiences that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, being able to be around other people who are interested in the same things as you and can
Yeah.
share experiences. Well, I've had a really great time getting to know you. I'm wondering if I or any of our listeners wanted to follow up and check out some of your work. Where should we go?
Well, you can go to oppositestrengths.com.
Mhm.
Uh, and you can actually sign up to take the assessment and get the basic results for free. Uh,
Wow. Okay.
Then, if you want to, there's a subscription you can buy and you can get 5 professional reports out of that. And then there's an online seminar that
Mhm.
contains videos where I actually recorded my dad explaining the beginnings of everything and kind of how the whole thing works. And there's reading material. And then there's also, I've done a few other podcasts over the years. Some of the most recent ones involve healthcare, and they're at denvermedicalstudygroup.com.
Okay.
There are 3 podcasts in there on healthcare culture transformation, and that is where my interests are now. Is that it used to be in the beginning, it was all about working with individuals and doing individual things, and
Mhm.
I've gotten my horizons expanded, where now I am focusing on transforming entire organizations,
Mhm.
uh, doing that through our website, through the online seminars, so doing it all through virtual means. And
Yeah, being able to have that large scale impact to
large,
uplift more people.
large scale, and that includes you can have the small scale, individual impact
Yeah.
in that, but the end is we're going to transform an entire organizational culture.
Mhm.
That,
Mhm.
that's where I am now.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me and sharing with me about, your journey and your dad. I mean, it's a beautiful story. And I look forward to seeing you at the convention.
I look forward to it too, Patty. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great day.
All right.